Hi, this is Eric Miller from iPhone Photography School, and in this video you'll learn how to use the Filters tool in Enlight. Now when you click on Filters, you'll notice you get three options: Analog, Black and White, and Duo. Let's talk about Analog first. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that, and you'll see over on the right we get a bunch of different analog filters. I can tap on any one of these and it'll give me a preview of what that filter's doing. So you can just kind of look around and see if you like what any of these filters are doing to your photo. Remember, you can also always control the strength of the filter by dragging your finger to the left or the right. If I drag my finger to the left, it decreases the strength of the filter. If I drag it to the right, it increases the strength of the filter. You can also fine-tune what the filter is doing by clicking on the Tools button over on the right or the bottom of my screen there. Click on Tools, and you get another set of menu options. If you click on any one of these, like I'll click on Basic, it shows me what the preset is doing here, and I can further fine-tune this if I don't like exactly what it looks like. Like for instance, if I think the structure is too much here, which is the contrast in my midtones, I can drag my finger to the left and it'll make it just a little bit softer. I could also tap on saturation and maybe just bring that down a tiny bit. It looked a little bit too saturated for me. Remember, you can always tap on the Before and After button, which are the two squares in the bottom right, to see what your filter and preset is doing. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go back and click on the Tools button one more time and show you some of the other features that are happening here in this tool. If I click on Film, you'll see that this is what is coloring the darks and the lights in my photo. I can decrease the intensity of this particular look. I can also change the color of the darks by clicking on Darks Hue and moving my finger to the left and the right. I have to warn you though that this a small movement produces quite a lot of change. So just move your finger a little bit. Like if I move it just a little bit to the right, you can see what a big change it makes to my photo. I'm going to move it a little bit to the left, and I like that kind of orangish look I'm getting there. Same thing with the lights. I can tint them separately as well. I can make them a little bit more purple, a little bit more green. Go a little bit more purple there. That's pretty. You also have the option of Fade, which controls how black your blacks are and how white your whites are. The more fade that you have on your photo, the more gray your blacks become and the more gray your whites become. See what that's doing there. I'm going to add a little bit of fade. And you can also add grain to your photo. I don't particularly like grain for this photo, so I'm just going to leave it at 0. Go back and click on the Tools again and show you some of the other options. There's also a vignette tool in here, which is pretty nice. I can control the intensity of the vignette and also the spread of it and the transition. You can also notice that if I go negative there, it gives you a white vignette, which I don't do very often, but I can imagine for a certain photo it might be nice. In this case, I'm going to stick with a traditional vignette and just keep it black. That looks pretty good. And then the other two tools that you can do here in Analog are the light leak and the border. Some people love these things, some people hate them. In this particular case, I think I'm just going to turn off the light leaks. I don't think I need it for this photo. And borders are not super popular right now, so I'm going to leave them off for this photo. Later on, when we do a black and white version of this photo, I will show you a really nice border that you can use here in Enlight. So there's my before and after. I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark and accept that, and you can see how we've used the analog filters in Enlight to make this photo better. I'm going to go ahead and reset that now, and next let's talk about the black and white options in Enlight. If I click on the black and white key, you'll see that once again I get some nice preset filters over on the right here. That one looks kind of cool. It makes it look like an infrared photo. So you can see they have some pretty extreme looks there. This is very different from the last edit that I did. I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can tone the photo again with the same sort of tools. I might want to increase the structure just a little bit so it's not quite so flat looking. And if I show you the filter option here, you can see they have some preset functions which affects how the black and white gets colored depending on what colors were in the original photo. Usually I just leave it on neutral. Sometimes if I have a lot of blue in the sky and I want a really high contrast look, I'll use the red, but I'm just going to leave this one at neutral here. And then I also want to show you the border that's going on here. You might think it's just a vignette, but there's kind of a neat border that's happening. I can increase or decrease that border. In this particular case, I think it's kind of a neat old-timey look for this particular photo. So I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark, and that shows you some of the neat things you can do with the black and white filter tool in Enlight. Let's reset that, and lastly we're going to talk about the duo tool in the filters option. Now this is pretty unusual, and you can do some interesting things here with duo. What duo means is that you can color different parts of the photo differently. So you can see with this option that I've chosen here, the inside, I'm going to make that a little smaller, the inside is getting a different color treatment than the outside, and I can control how big the vignette is for that, and I can also control the transition area. It's a little bit like my vignette tool, how sharp or how subtle that transition is. Now for a photo like this particular vignette, which is circular, might not make sense, but you'll notice that some of them have a straight line which will be perfect for this landscape shot because we can make that line up with our horizon. Let's go to this preset right here and let's match that horizon line up with the duo line and make it kind of a tight transition area. Now, that gets me most of the way there. Again, I'm going to click on the Tools function, and you can see that I can change the color of the sky. I can make it more pink, more orange. In this case, I'm going to make it kind of purple. I can also change the color of everything below the line, so the field. Maybe I want to make it a little bit more orange, more yellow-green. I like that orange color. Now, if you like the colors that you've got but feel that the effect overall is a little bit much, you can change that in blending mode here. There are different blending modes, which I wouldn't worry about too much right now. I would just leave it on the default. But you can see the default is 45 right now. If I feel like the effect is just a little bit too strong, I can bring it down to the left. Let me look at the before and after. Yeah, that looks pretty nice there. So I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark in the upper left, and that is how you use the duo filter in Enlight. So you can see with this tool I've created 3 different edits of this same photo. It's a very powerful tool that's really fun to use.